chair that you have. Do you want my shoes off? Yeah, take your shoes off, all right, because we want to have our feet touching the earth. And this is another thing just about balance. If you can walk around a lot more barefoot and feel the earth beneath you, sometimes our shoes are really clunky and we're unable to really feel our feet against the earth. So walking around barefoot is a really good thing, especially like if you can ever go outside and be in the grass or be on the rocks, you know, that just is really good medicine for your feet. Also, yesterday in our mat class, we did a little massaging for our feet. Real good to just attend to them. Those of you that go and get the pedicures, they always do a really nice foot massage and leg massage. Balance is about our whole body though, right? So for instance, our heads are about 10 pounds. So if I'm walking around with a little head tilt all the time, then I'm not going to be in balance, right? I'm going to always be more weight on one side than the other. So even if I feel like my feet are really connected to the earth in a balanced way, but my head is a little lopsided, right? Or I carry a shoulder down on one side a little bit more, that's all going to interfere with my mobility, the way my body lines up, the health of my joints and my body as well, okay? So we're gonna intermix the stretching so we can keep our muscles elongated with strengthening. So if you have, again, those little weights, you can use them, you don't need to. And then again, into that balance too. So let's balance on our own 2 feet, finding the alignment that we often will start out with our yoga. And that's really important. And I know as many times as sometimes I say, try to have your feet running parallel to one another underneath your hips. And there are reasons that some people can't, but I'll still see people that have their feet farther than hips width, 1 foot in or 1 foot out. And again, that could be things that we're dealing with our own body. But if we become conscious of how our feet are planted, that is helpful. And now let's go ahead and from that point, just lift your toes off the ground. Some people have really tricky toes and they can then let each one come down to the ground. But with them lifted, this is a good exercise too. And what we're gonna do today, I've got some handouts I'll give you and then I'll send you guys copies of them. They're just things that you can repeat because once a week's not gonna be enough, right? If you really wanna improve your balance, you're gonna need to do some of these things over and over again. So here we are, we've got our feet, 2 corners on the front part of our feet. Can you feel that coming into the ground, those bones right there? And then at the back and the heels. And then go ahead and see how controlled you can let those toes come back down. And try not to have, forget what that's called, but the toes that are coming in like this. And sometimes the shoes we wear cause that. People wear those flip-flops and things, and they always have to have their toes kind of keeping their foot attached to the shoe. So try to let those come out and then find that strength and length in your legs. As you press down, you're going to feel that coming all the way up here into our hips. This is our center gauge too. And a lot of times also when we're just standing and talking to someone, we might be like this, right? I know I see myself in photos where I'm standing like this. So the more we can learn to stand straight, not locking into our knees though, okay, but keeping the strength in and around the muscles of our knees. That's all good stuff. And then again, bringing that length through here, checking on my shoulders, right? Checking on my earlobes and bringing my head back a bit. Because it's not that it might just go left and right. It might stick out. It might come back too far. Let's see if we can have it really weighted in the center. And then your arms, freely release. Arms are so important for balance, right? When we're walking asymmetrically, right? 1 foot and then the opposite arm. And today we're going to practice just doing a little bit of different things. So, and then from here, let's just go ahead and settle in. Again, taking into ourself, our space, our breath. really important in balancing is that we feel that we have a lightness about us, not just in our body, but in our emotions. So what Harriet's talking about in terms of the class she's been in with Denise and trying to lighten our load emotionally is going to really make a difference on how we move through space and time. And everything else we feel ourselves doing. For instance, I know Harriet does a lot of tennis. Tennis takes a lot of balance. Chris is swimming and she does a lot of yoga. Josephine and Lori, you were doing a lot of yoga as well. And I noticed yesterday when we were on that walk, Chris had a little trip, but you know what? She didn't fall. And that's the thing. You're doing a lot of other body movement. Your awareness becomes such that if you trip gracefully. If you fall gracefully. The last time I really took a fall could have really hurt somebody, but I just fell pretty gracefully. My daughter watched it happen onto a brick floor, and I could have really messed myself up, but I just kind of let it happen, laughed, and I picked myself up, thankfully. Not that that's always going to happen, but it did that time. All right, then from here, let's go ahead, just bend into your knees a little bit, keeping the toes forward and the knees forward, and just feel where the weight went on your feet. For me, my toes lifted, okay? Maybe if I press them down, it's going to make me feel like I'm gonna come forward a little bit more. So that's our body's natural reaction to keeping ourselves nice and balanced. And then my body also went forward. So I'm gonna bring it back a little bit, right? And train it to be upright. And then go ahead and lighten your load with those long legs. Lift on up, inhale. Let's get a little bit of stretching in here. Hold on to one side, lengthen and come on over. Feel that pressing down into the opposite foot of the side we're going on to, okay? Feel that press down, because my body weight now is taking me into one side. How can I keep myself from falling over that way? Press into that opposite leg. And my hip extends out too. Take yourself up, lengthen. Switch hands, come on over to the other side. Press down into that foot. Breathe a few breaths. Right. Taking yourself up. Let's go ahead and bend into our knees. Take ourselves with our hands forward here. Feel the weight come into your heels. This and bend into your knees. The more you bend, the more your heels will take weight. Your toes will lift. And this chair pose, or modified chair pose, is a good one for balancing and strengthening. You should feel this through your glutes and your calves and your thighs. You can extend through your fingers a little bit more, pulling those shoulders back and just trying to stack and balance yourself, okay? Strengthening, stretching, and balance. Come on up, inhale. And then let's take ourselves with our feet really planted and let your heart start to come forward and the fingers rise up. Now our gaze comes up, and that changes balance. Anytime our gaze lifts or moves in one direction or the other. So paying attention to where our feet are, and then bringing ourselves up. Exhale, bend into the knees just a little bit. Let your arms come down. Let your chin come down. Open up the back side of your neck. Feel the shoulders falling away. Feel where your feet are and your knees bent there. Rise up to shoulder height. Take a look over towards one of your hands, right? And with that gaze in that direction, I'm still balanced, right? I've got really a lot of symmetry, but my gaze is turning, and I'm gonna now slowly turn it in the opposite way. And I'm gonna do that a few more times. And I wanna try to keep my eyes focused on a line that is horizontal between my outstretched hands, okay? So when they say When you're dancing, for instance, and you're doing a turn, they say you want to have that focus point and keep your eyes focused there. Now come back to center. Take your palms down if they've been up. Now I want you to turn your head, but keep your eyes looking forward. See how far you can take that head, and the eyes stay forward. Come back to center and then turn the other way. Eyes come and follow that center focus point and then back. Exhale, take your arms down, bring them on up, inhale. And now we're going to do a little rocking chair for balance and for lengthening. Bend into your knees, toes come up, your arms come back, they reach back, shoulder stretching, rising up, inhale. Let your heart expand, exhale. So when we're moving through space, we have to rely on our balance. Right? Whether we're walking, running, hopping, skipping, jumping, swimming, running on a tennis court, whatever it might be. And using our breath with our motion will also help us with that how many letter word? S-T-R-E-S-S, 6-letter word, stress. Let's do 2 more rounds here. Inhaling up, exhaling, cooling down. One more time. I'm not rushing through life and space either. And then bringing yourself up. Exhaling, arms come back. Let's go ahead and take a hold of a chair now. We're going to have the high side of the chair towards us. And all this time, you know, I've been saying, okay, you guys can just go and be standing at a countertop and come up and down on your toes and feet. That's what everything I look at says about balance, is that we want to initiate there with the balls of our feet and get into our ankles and get into our calves, okay? So let's do some of that. Let's have your feet about hips distance and also hips distance and parallel, okay? Go ahead and rise up, inhale. Open up that front side of your ankles, yeah. And then you come on down, exhale. When you come down, rock back to your heels. Lift the balls of your feet, or at least the toes off the ground. And then come on back up. And you can do this with your hands slightly on the chair. Or you begin to lift one arm up. Maybe rising one arm up as you come forward, lowering it. Come on back to your heels with that other hand, or keep both hands there, all right? Remember, open mind, open heart. And we're working with breath too, right? Inhaling, exhaling when I come back to my heels. One more set there. And now let's take it up onto the balls of our feet, okay? When you do, right, I want you to engage through your core here, okay? I want you to engage here. That doesn't mean we stop breathing. That means we become aware of what our core is doing. Because if I just come up and I'm not engaged here, I'm not going to be as strong. I come on up, work into this area. Finding a lot more strength there. Now, only if you feel like you want or can, you lift one arm to whatever height feels good to you. And then bring it down and take your heels down. Exhale, just to heels. Go ahead and rise up. And exhale. only if you feel like you want to begin to release both hands. And that is something we'll all work into doing. Maybe it's just I take one finger on that chair. And here I'm finding my gaze forward. Maybe when I lift both hands off the chair, I don't rise up as high, right? Find where you can with one or both arms on or off the chair and see how long you can just stay up there, rising up and then calming back down. Good. And then bend into your knees and walk them out of here. And then we're going to go ahead and take ourselves to the side of the chair. And the outside leg is going to lift up. Okay. And then I'm going to maybe take my hand under my thigh. Maybe both hands, okay? Where is your balance, right? Maybe one hand's here, both hands are there. And then I'm going to slowly begin to extend that leg. It might not go out all the way. Feel the body shifting as you do that, okay? One or two hands, okay? Practicing that little motion. And there we're in that neutral motion, that neutral position of knee in line with your hip. And then press it down. Walk it out. You should feel more strengthening going on in that standing leg by the chair. And we're going to stay there and keep strengthening this side. And we're going to lift that other knee, the outside one, up. And I'm going to take it outward. Okay. And I want to press down. We worked on this yesterday. Maybe I'm going to hold onto my hip and bring it towards me. So because it's going to want to go towards the chair, I want to bring it up and still keep that external rotation going, okay? Oh, staying here or practicing lifting your hand off the chair, strengthening that standing leg, okay? Lifting to the point that feels good for you, or maybe just a couple inches, all right? Go ahead and let that leg come down. Walk it out, okay? Let your hips go. Real important in balance to have our hips be really flexible. Right? We're going to do a little dancing in this class too, because dancing takes balance. All right. Okay, we'll do one more with this leg standing on the inside by the chair. Press weight into that foot. Make sure you're still paying attention to what's going on that foot. Lift on up, holding on if you like. And then taking this knee across your body. Bringing it to center, take it out. Pay attention to what's going on with that foot that's standing. Where's the weight shifting to? And are we taking our hand and really supporting ourselves on that chair? Maybe a finger, maybe releasing here and there. Finding a spot to look at, it's like an angle down, right? Or maybe straight up. And then place that foot down, exhale. Walk it out, just a bit there. And then let's go ahead and work on the other side. I have to move my chair, you guys might not need to. And then I'm gonna work strengthening this side, okay? Balancing with that strength. Finding my feet parallel. Finding my core strength, lifting up. And then I'm going to go ahead and take weight here, lift, and maybe a little bit, maybe just to my toe, okay? Even that is balancing, all right? So take it where your body is ready to go. I flex into that foot. I make sure my hips not going into the chair. Take my hand underneath there to support. Other hand can stay or it can release. And I'm going to go ahead, flex it out, bring it in. And again, you might be here, right? That's okay. Go where your knee, your hip, your body, your balance is saying is right for you. And when you start to feel like you're shifting off balance, feel what that feels like, okay? And then bring that foot on down. And then build that muscle memory to where you felt you were in balance. And then keeping that adjustment to where you're feeling like you're going off a little bit. All right, let's go ahead. Strengthening in that inside leg by the chair. Pick up your other leg. Find your hip coming out. And this one, bring it away from the chair. So this hip opens. This one stays straight down on the weight of my leg. Okay. And let's just bring it forward to neutral. Take it on out. Forward into neutral. Take it on out. And again, your knee may be a lot lower than mine. It doesn't matter where it is. You're still opening, externally rotating, and internally coming in. This hand might be shifting its weight from the chair to being loose. And let's place that foot down. And walk it out just a bit. Good. All right, and then we'll do one more time. This is going to be that full left and right, internal rotation and external rotation. Weight on that inner leg, pick up your other one. Good, and we'll flex it. We'll take it out. We'll bring it across our body. Feel what's happening to the weight of that foot that you're standing on, okay? And keep bringing it away from that chair because it wants to sink on in there, right? Bringing it away. And let's place that down. All right, walk it out. Let's do a little bit of a salsa movement here. And then we're going to do some other things. So those of you that have salsa before, right? It's rhythm, it's balance, it's joy. All right, so first of all, let's just move our hips left and right. How do we do that? We bend into one knee. We bend into the other, yes. And we get our arms moving in that opposite way. Okay. And we pay attention, what's going on with our feet when I do that, right? Am I real heavy? Can my toes kind of lift? Is most of my weight maybe in my heels? Okay, and then for that next place, you're gonna take one foot forward, put the weight in that foot, right? And then shift, take the other foot off the ground just a little bit, shift back onto it, bring yourself up, shift that foot back, take the other one up, shift it down, keep wiggling those hips, bring the other one forward, okay? Bring it back. Now this one, sorry, I forgot about this one. This one pops up and it comes back. And then you press down and then you bring them back together. Then you bring one foot forward, your body shifts forward, you come back, bring them together. This foot comes back, shift on back, hips keep going, bring them back together. One comes forward, work into those hips, bring them back together, and the other comes back. Okay, so taking it to speed. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Do you notice where and how you're shifting your weight? Good. And balancing, right? 1, 2, 3. Back together. 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Another step. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Good. And then just shake those knees out. Okay, we're gonna move a little bit more now. This time, we might lose sight of one another because we're going to move around our space with one foot planted. The other one comes right in front of it. I press the heel down first, then the rest of my foot. Notice I am heel to toe. I'm not with that nice wide hip stance now. I'm crossing kind of into that center line. And then I'm going to take the other foot, heel, and then press down. Come around, heel, press down. Go ahead and walk around. As you do, I want you to pay attention to what's going on with the weight in your feet, what's going on with the shifting of your body, what's going on with your arms, okay? And just note those things.
I have a question, Julie. When I'm doing this, as far as movement, tendency to kind of look down. You want our carriage to be kind of more up.
It's best up,
yes.
Because remember that head down is weight down, all right? My head lifted up to a point that's right in front of me, that's going to lift up that whole part of my upper body. Yes, Chris, thank you. And keep focused too on nice, steady breaths. Noticing how something so simple takes thought. And there might be a place where you say, oh, wait, I gotta use my toe there to get myself around. And we do it slowly too, right? You don't have to do it quickly. And you make your little turns so you don't run into the wall. And as you do, feel what's happening when you make that turn too. Carry yourself. We have a saying in yoga, the tighter the body, the lighter the body. So be strong in your muscles, in your core, your arms, your legs, and then you'll feel a lighter upwardness by bringing in your muscles closer to the bones. And thank you, Chris, for that reminder important point of maintaining an upright gaze. Okay, we're going to add something to this now, okay? So now what we're going to add is, I'm going to come here so you guys can see me, is I'm going to, when I take that foot out, I'm going to take it straight out, draw a circle with my foot, like we used to in ballet, those of you that have been ballet. So I'm going to bring it up like I'm in a tree pose. I'm going to take it out, draw a circle, bring the heel back to my toe, okay? And how are your arms going to react to that? Do I want to take my arms out? You know, bring it here, take it over. Do I want my arms to stay here? Starting here, take it out, and bring it around. Starting here, take it out, bring it around. And if this starting point here is a little bit much without a chair, then just start with a flat foot, okay? And take it around. If this is a lot like this, this is one of the tree poses here. But if that's a lot without a chair, you can just take it to flat foot and take it around, okay? I forget what this is called in ballet, but it has a name. And feel what your legs are doing when you do this, okay? So here I am right up against you guys. I'm gonna make a turn. Let's do that. A few more times on each side. Slowly pointing out, making your arc, your circle, keeping your arms whichever direction the way feels right for you. And then bringing it on back. Now we're going to do a little march, okay? So from walking, we're just going to take one opposite arm, we're gonna bend it as we bend that leg. And then we take that hand down. Then the opposite arm bends, fingers up, knee rises, hand comes down, okay? And then just take yourself slowly, eyes up, mind we're down. And find yourself in this slow motion march. And breathing. So I'm inhaling as I lift, exhaling as I lower. Two more, each side, please. Good. And then let's come on back. And now let's take our chair to the short edge of the chair. And here we're going to come into some positions that are more yogic in nature, but you don't have to come into a full expression. And then we're going to take that chair by a wall if you have that accessible, but don't need to do that yet, okay? So on the chair, let's see if I can turn it this way, make sure you can still see me, Harriet, that way. Okay, let's go ahead and take our arms up and then let them come down to the chair. So I have a flat spine here. And from here, I'm now on all fours, right? I've got my feet, hips distance, and paying attention to what's going on with them. My arms are strong. I'm going to slide one leg back to the ball of that foot, and I want to stretch into the calf there. As I do, notice what happened to that hip. It went back with it. Bring it forward so that the two hips are staying somewhat in alignment. Bend into that front knee. Then straighten that leg and lift the other foot off the ground, maybe an inch, maybe two, no higher than your hip, okay? And you are now on 3 points of contact rather than 4. So this is balancing still. This is strengthening. Here, our gaze is straight down because that's the way our face is. So we're still forward. Everything is alignment from the crown of our head to our heel. And again, you may be really low here. That's okay, all right? And no higher than your hip fill. See if you can make yourself tighter and lighter here. Really strengthening through that standing leg. Pulling in muscles to bone, but not hyperextending in the knee. Bend into the standing leg. Place the other foot down. Bring it on in. And let's go ahead and come into a merengue now, right? Merengue is, of course, we'd be standing up or doing merengue. It's really not a lot of forward and back. It's really hips and knees and coming onto the balls of your feet. And maybe taking the legs out. So when we did salsa, we were forward. You can also do it to the side. Do that next. And then let's go ahead and find our flat spine and take the opposite leg behind you onto the ball of that foot. And then just stretch back there a bit through that calf. Feel that lengthening the back side of your leg. Good. And then bringing your weight forward, bend into your standing leg. Lift the other one up an inch or two with the flexed foot, or send it straight back from your hip. letting that hip rotate back downward. And your standing leg is strong and long. You're pressing through your back heel. Your crown is pulling forward, your gaze is straight down, feeling the strengthening into your glutes here. And then bend into that standing leg and let your foot come down. This is one to practice. Go and bring that foot up and go ahead and let it get a little bit. This is one to practice over and over again in your day. See how long you're able to maintain a little bit of height. Again, no higher than your hip for them. And this is a nice, you can come on up, way to work into a warrior three, which is a big balancing pose in yoga. But this will help us to gradually build ourselves into being able to do something like that. Okay, why don't you come over here with your chair and your mat to the wall.
Julie,
You guys,
handouts you gave us were very helpful in yoga for doing things on the wall and using the props.
oh good, did you look at them?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad, that's great, I love those. And I'm gonna maybe move to make sure that you guys can see us. But I'm gonna come up to the wall now, if you have access to a wall. And let me move this so that you guys can see us better. And we're gonna practice something called, I'm gonna raise this up, maybe turn it to the other.
We can't see your chair, Julie.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
Sorry.
it's okay. Let me get here and then I'll see how it's looking and what I need to do to adjust. And I can also move my chair. And bring it like this. And let's see what we can do here. And I'll move my chair. And then we'll check again. No, you're good. You're good. All right, I think you can see now, huh? Yeah. You want them to see you? Harriet? Yeah, well, whatever. So let's go ahead. Move you here. It's a little fun for them to see us. Oh. This one. All right. So you can see us both now pretty much, right? Let me open this up a little bit more. A little more height. There.
That's great.
Okay. Good. Hi, guys. Thank you. Oh, let me get the. So this is the peak pose. All right. Peak pose means this is probably the strongest pose we're going to do today. We thought that warrior three was, but we're going to take it up another notch. But again, take it to your notch. Okay. I just want this to be fluid. So thank you. So that everybody feels like they're getting something, right? And everybody's working at their level, okay? So we're gonna come back again so that our hands are on the chair, okay? I'm gonna move my body a little bit closer to the wall, right? Yeah, so my shoulder is on the wall, my hip is on the wall, my foot can be on the wall. That might take me off balance, so I'm gonna find out, okay? So I've got that whole wall, boom, it's not going anywhere, all right? And we're gonna practice coming from the hand that's closest to the wall, comes more into the center of your chair, okay? And then that back foot comes out. And I'm gonna take my foot away from the wall too. I don't think that's gonna help my balance. But I'm gonna keep my hip there and my shoulder there. Yeah, you got it. Now, you can just lift that leg up like we did before, or you can begin to open up that hip and you're up against the wall and your arm lifts up and you are in Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Balance on your foot, balance on your hand, balanced on the wall. And it's just a real nice way to feel light. Now, no wall, no worries. You're just working on this again, okay? So find where you are going to be. But this is just really nice. You can flex into that foot. You could stay here forever, huh? You think?
For a while.
But how does that look with Harry and I doing? That's pretty cool, huh? And then take your hand down and your foot down. Yeah, good. And then go ahead and wiggle it on out. And I think if we just change sides, then we'll be doing the opposite way, right? And then we're gonna do the other side. So Harry and I are just gonna do a little switcheroo. So we've gone from some simpler ways of increasing balance and strength to one that, we may or may not want to do yet. And so then again, my hip, my shoulders up against the wall, my foot's not quite up against the wall. I'm gonna take my hand by the wall to the center. I'm going to start to lift the other leg up. Both hands are on the chair at first until I open up that hip, place my spine up against the wall, lift my arm up. So you want a wall, obviously, that doesn't have photos, pictures, something boring like here at Vessel Health. Dr. White's gray walls here. Wouldn't be my house, so I have too many pictures and stuff. This one, your leg can be as high as your hip, but you can even rise it up more here if you want. But really good practice here for working into this half moon. Go ahead and take your arm back down, let your hip follow, foot comes down, wiggle it out just a bit here. And now, if you are able to take your hands to the back side of the long, big, tall part of the chair and place one foot up on the chair, okay? Are you able to reach that, Josephine? Are you able to put your foot up on that chair, or do we need a little stool for you? You able to? Yes? All right, so that foot is up there, okay? And then we're gonna take our hand to our knee. And here's where we're gonna practice where our vision isn't going to be straight ahead, okay, or to the side. We're gonna lift it up with our arms too, okay? So I'm gonna lift my arms up, inhale. And I gaze up. Now, my body is pretty much stable, all my weight, vertebrae on vertebrae. But now I wanna let my heart open. Come into a mini little heart opening, back bending. See where the weight is shifting in your body. And then lifting on up, inhale. Exhale, take your hands back to the chair. Yeah, and then let that foot come down. Let the other one come up. All right, good. And then placing that weight firmly on both feet. Lift your arms away if you can. If not, please hold on to that chair. Lifting and lengthening. This is also where maybe you keep your gaze forward or you begin to lift up. Maybe letting the heart come forward. Hip flexor, open up there. And then bringing ourselves back up. Exhale. Bring yourself down. And let the other foot come down. So, taking one foot up onto the chair was a bit of a challenge for your balance, even though you still had feet planted, but one's up higher, right? One's lower. So you have to shift that body weight for that. And then we'll just turn our chairs towards them. Just begin this with me. And only if you, I don't know if we'll use these today. Next week, bring one of something like this, you guys. We won't use it today because that was a surprise on me. There's the weights if you want to use them. We're gonna work with straps and weights for the last few minutes here. So you guys have those available. Yes, we gotta sit in the chair. Feels good. And we're kind of towards the edge of the chair here. And scoot away just to get so we have room in between us. Go ahead and take, if you have weights, and only if you have weights and want to utilize them, you don't have to. We're gonna do some of the same basic things we do seated in the chair with yoga, only now with our little 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 pound, 20 pound weights, whatever you're using. My hands are straight down in front of me. And I'm just gonna lift them up, inhale. And maybe I'm at a V. And notice if you open up in a V, you're gonna feel that more in kind of a different chest area. So let's bring them together and then open up to that V. Bring them together and open up to that V. Bring them together. And now let's open up into halfway between straight up and shoulder. So a bigger V. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Rise up on your in-breath. Exhale to that same place. Inhale up. Exhale, take it to shoulder height if that feels right for you. And then bend. Weights come to your shoulders and then shift that weight up straight. Exhale, take it down. Then lift up. Exhale. Inhale, push. Exhale. Take it down. One more time, lifting. Exhale down. Bring it on in. From here, take one arm forward. And then switch, take the other arm forward. So you're pulling elbow back and arm forward. So we're getting into the squeezing of our shoulders. As we're pumping forward. Like we're about to shoot an arrow, really pulling back. Feel that almost in your waist. Two more times each side. I'm inhaling here, exhaling. And then taking weights on down. Go ahead and let the weights come down. Take your strap or your scarf or your belt, whatever you might have. Let's get a little bit of opening. Yeah, nice ones. And we'll get a little bit of opening for the back side of our legs. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just somewhere underneath our foot, kind of at the arch, I'm gonna go ahead and take that strap. If you don't have a strap, don't worry, just take your hands to some of your anatomy, okay? And I'm gonna sit up straight here on my sits bones, so I'm balancing still, even in a chair on my sits bones. I'm gonna lengthen that leg out, okay? I'm gonna let it come out to one side. Let it come in. Maybe you have a bend in the leg and that's okay. Cross the center line. Feel that in that outer hip. Come on in. Maybe lifting a little bit more. Find where your stretch and your length is. Still maintaining a straight spine. Pull your elbows together more and bring your torso close to your thigh. Then let your heavy head go. Now around. Feeling the lengthening in the back of our legs in a straight way. Feeling the opening in our vertebrae and our spine. Lift the head up slowly. And let your leg come down. And replace it with the other. Take it up to your length and your height, right? Maybe we're really low here. That's okay. Look, I'm still getting some nice lengthening in the back of my leg, okay? So take it to what feels right for you. And you'll feel a little bit of lengthening and stretching. And you have the power to push as much or little into that strap, pulling with your arms as much or little as you want. Let that leg come out to one side. Feel that opening in the inside of our leg. Bring it back. Center. Take it on over. Yeah, feel that. Bringing it on back. Maybe lifting it a little higher, maybe not. Taking your torso towards your thigh. Letting your heavy head drop. And again, your leg may be just a few inches off the ground, but you're still letting your torso drop and your shoulders pull away from your ears and letting everything relax in the upper body as that lower leg that's lifted is getting nice length. And then slowly lifting out of that because your head might have been lower than your heart. Bend into your knee, place it on down. And let's sit at the edge of your chair with arms extended. Nothing but breath right now. Balanced breath. We're going to do that with an even count here. I'm going to count 4. That's your inhale, your exhale on the count of 4. If your in or out breath is longer or shorter, take that rhythm. Okay. Let's get some even breaths to balance ourselves out of the end. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your own breath count for a few more breaths. And releasing your hands down, lift them up in. Exhale, hands come into heart center and bowing down to your true teacher, yourself. Thank you for your presence and from my balanced, happy heart and body to yours. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for being here in person, in vivo, Harriet. Thanks for being here, Josephine and Lori and Chris. And balance takes practice, okay? There's no such thing as practice makes perfect, all right? We're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for you guys to do some crazy, wild yoga moves that have to do with our balance. We're looking for you guys to stay safe, to stay strong, to stay above the ground, right? Not having any of our falling issues, and to stay connected with our bodies, our feet, our breath, okay? And to practice these things. I'll send you copies of what I'm going to give to Harriet today. And I think it's just 12 or 15 little simple exercises. And it says for seniors, but I think it's for anyone and everyone. Practice these. For seniors doesn't mean these are easy peasy things to do either, okay? But I'll send them to you.
Can I ask a favor? On Saturday, can I pick up a copy? My printer's not working very well. I can't print things. Is that okay, or is that going to inconvenience? Okay.
I'll have a copy for you. Lori, are you coming Saturday to our balloon thing?
No, I won't be able to make it.
Okay, all right. Does your printer work if I send that to you?
Yes, it does.
I will send that and I'll give
Yes.
an extra to you, Chris, and have some extra ones for people come as like I said, in person. It was fun to have Harriet next to me. I think we should do that.
Here.
Yeah, we should just here instead of over here, and then I feel like I've got a compañera. Yeah. So, all right, questions, you guys, or anything?
One of the things I just noticed with all the zooming and everything, I was moving my camera around because you're looking and I'm spending a lot of my time like this, trying to look at the zoom and trying to, so I'm really trying to be mindful of that and correct that behavior because, being more like this, so
Yeah.
that.
And a lot of it could be that you could just do a lot more listening, or
Yeah.
just place that somewhere where you're going to feel like most of the time. Some of the time I'm going to be out of camera when we're doing some of our walking, spatial kinds of movement. And some of it is really just listening and getting the directions.
Yes.
Yeah. But you're right. I had to move it a little bit. So thank you for your patience with that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. But practice. And then, in maybe a month, we'll see Josephine standing on one toe, holding up her leg behind her.
2.5 moon.
Yeah. What did you think? Were you able to find a wall to practice the half moon? Any of you? Yeah? Okay, good. And you've probably done that before, haven't you, Chris?
Yeah, but it was really weird with the difference in the angle. I was having, I remembered it from the other yoga place, but I wasn't able to find that way because I got, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out sometimes.
Yeah, or come on in when you.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I got right after this. I couldn't do it today. So.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you. Good to see you. And I'll see you Saturday, Chris, and tomorrow. We're going to go one of Chris's favorite yoga teachers. I'm going to go to one of her classes tomorrow. It's in the park, right? So we're going to go check that out. She's been going. And Lori, you're okay. We missed you on the walk and everything. I'm glad to see you back. And I know, Josephine, you've got some things going on. You hit the road next week too, right?
Yeah, we're taking a short road trip to Silver City and El Paso.
What day do you leave again?
We're leaving Sunday
Okay.
and returning Wednesday.
All right. And I leave on Tuesday. So next week, you guys, it will be a recording of a class like this that I'll do from home. It'll be a recorded class. So you can go in anytime. You don't have to wait until 10 o'clock on Thursday to do that class. Set in stone at the beginning of the week. So I just have to do it today. So, and then I've already done the Tuesday class too. So that both of those will be recorded because we'll be on the road. A lot of times I can do my Zooming where I'm at, but not when we're in the car. So, okay, good. Well,
Julie, that wasn't easy.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But were you okay? You weren't frustrated or?
No.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
glad. Yeah, and it was leveled, right? There were different ways you could
Right.
go things. So yeah, punching, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, you guys, take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Be safe, everybody.
Again, see you guys.
Friday.
Bye. That was fun having you as my partner.